hello, Easton, and welcome to the Rabbi's Roundtable. I am Rabbi Emeritus.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Peter Hyman, and we are coming to you from the studios of MCTV in the basement of the Avalon Theater, and I am delighted to have as my guest today State Comptroller Brooke Lierman. Comptroller, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we have a number of things in common, including a connection to the University of Texas, but we won't go into that.
Hook 'em.
Yeah, hook 'em horns is right. Tell us a little bit about your background, and
Sure.
then we'll go into your agenda.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you for being such an important leader in the community
very
for so
kind.
many
Thank you.
years. And, I've had an opportunity to meet you before and just really appreciate all the incredible work that you've done. And thank you for doing this.
It's my
great.
pleasure.
So I was born in DC, raised in Montgomery County, and moved to Baltimore after law school. And I was a practicing civil rights and disability rights attorney, litigator for many years. And then also a member of the State House. So I was a state delegate representing District 46, which is every neighborhood around the water in Baltimore City. I was on the Appropriations Committee, I was on the Pension Oversight Committee, and really started to get to know the importance of the role of the Comptroller of Maryland. And when there was an open seat, I talked to a number of people, and I said, I think that we could do more with that. I think that the Comptroller of Maryland, as only one of three independently elected statewide officials, right? We've got governor, attorney general, comptroller, really should be an advocate for the people, should be thinking about how we reimagine that office to support families, support communities, support small businesses. It's the elected CFO of the state, but there's an important role for us to do this convening around our economy and our the economic challenges that present themselves. So.
And it's so important, and they are so, and now even more. Actually, you're the second comptroller that has been here.
Oh, nice.
And,
that's great.
But even, it's been a while, but still, the now especially the demands and the changing nature of the culture is pressing. I know it's for you. It's certainly, I see that even in the clergy. It's just not the same.
I'm sure. So I ran in 2022 and was thrilled to be elected, and the 34th Comptroller of Maryland and the first woman to ever hold this position, and just honored to do it, and really excited about the great new team we brought in and the work that we're doing as I lead this agency of 1,200 people with 12 offices around the state.
Wow.
So,
that's
great.
So cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit. I know that part of your agenda has been visionary, and of course, and it says, I'll be rabbinic for a second.
Yeah.
In the book of Proverbs, it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish."
Oh,
and it should be over everybody's desk, whether you're a clergy person or a doctor or whatever. And so I know you have been striving for modernization. Would you talk a little bit about your vision and thank you.
Absolutely. I think it's really up to every government leader to do what we can to make government work better for people, right? When government isn't working well, businesses can't open because they can't get permits. People can't get access to things like the earned income tax credit. Whatever it is, government plays a role in so much of society and our economy that it needs to work well for people and be accessible. And so to me, when I entered the agency, I saw that our infrastructure was just hopelessly out of date. All of our tax system was and our general accounting system for the state are some of the oldest in the nation. They're all in COBOL, right? My employees are on green screens. Our website is old. We don't have a customer relation management system, so we don't answer people as efficiently as we should. So we are really focused on modernizing, moving things to the cloud, being secure. I hired the first CIO in the agency, also the first CISO, which is a security officer to oversee our cybersecurity efforts. So we're very focused on moving to our new system, Maryland Tax Connect, for taxes for everybody within the next couple years. We are partnering with the IRS. I joke that I'm excited to partner with the IRS. Is not a sentence that I ever thought I would say, but I'm excited to be partnering with the IRS to offer Direct File, which is a brand new free online, mobile friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's this great new system that we're going to start using in January for eligible Marylanders to file for free securely both federal and state taxes online. So it's that kind of initiative. We're going to build a whole new website opening that'll debut in January. So there's a lot of work going into making sure that we have the tools that we need to serve the people of Maryland as we should be.
And just to be, wow, that's really impressive. And I'm not being gratuitous. To be able to upgrade, that makes it better for all of us.
Right, and I said at the end of the day, at the end of my term, I want to leave an agency, the agency in much better shape, than I found it.
Yes.
Because every elected official should be trying to do that, right? Always do better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about direct filing and that process. That's pretty interesting.
It is interesting. So under the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRS was given an additional boost of funds, and one of the things they did with that was to create a new online free filing system called Direct File. But of course they have to, it's important for them to work in partnership with states. So we have partnered with the IRS, and in January we will offer a free online filing tool for federal and state taxes for eligible Marylanders. Now, eligible Marylanders, we estimate there'll be about 870,000 Marylanders who, simple W-2, simple 1099s, things like that they can use to access it. And it provides an option, right? Some people might say, nope, I love my TurboTax, right? But other people are going to say, you know what, I don't want to pay. There's a free, secure option. I'm going to take advantage of that.
Sure.
And for something that we compel Americans to do, like file taxes, it should, to me, we shouldn't be putting a huge cost or burden on people to do that. So I feel strongly that we should create lower barriers to access, and that's what we're trying to do.
Again, visionary, and not just visionary, but upgrading the ability of us who create the society to live in consort with the technology.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And one other aspect to it that I really appreciate is tax credits. So people don't talk about it like this often, but we actually run the government's largest anti-poverty program, and that is the Earned Income Tax Credit. The Earned Income Tax Credit is available for working Marylanders, working Americans. It gives them money back, even if they don't owe taxes, if they've worked and they're below a certain income level. It's a massively popular bipartisan program because it really is for working people who are just struggling to get by, and it can provide a real boost to. I met a woman a couple years ago. It's my favorite story. She didn't know she qualified for the EITC. Then she got it, and she realized she qualified. She claimed it. She earned enough money to buy a used car that she used to go to community college classes. 3 years later, she made too much money, so she didn't qualify for it anymore. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Like, just that little bit can be really helpful to people so that they can
ameliorate themselves.
Move them up and move into the middle class.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, so we're really focused on making sure people can access the Earned Income Tax Credit.
What's the income level?
So it changes every year, but it changes whether you have children or not and how much and so it is a sliding scale. But through Direct File and on our website as well, on Direct File, they show very clearly what it is so that you can know whether you qualify or not and claim it.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you want to share the website, the address?
Sure. If you just go to our website, marylandtaxes.gov, there's information there about all of this.
Marylandtaxes.gov.
Yep, exactly.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Thanks. We're excited. And we'll have a brand new website in January. So make sure you visit that.
I will. Absolutely.
Yep.
So another issue that we should talk about briefly before we end the agenda, because I know you're busy.
Yeah, it's great.
Is childcare.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, can I give you my son? Never mind.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you bring childcare up because I think most people don't think of it as an economic issue, right?
Yeah.
But I created a small but mighty team in my agency to do more reporting and research using the data that we have, but also getting out in the community to talk to folks. So this past January, we released the first ever report on the state of Maryland's economy. And in that report, we go through, it's about 100 pages, but very readable, good graphs, and we explain what's happening in Maryland's economy, the good and the bad, and the challenges. And one of the challenges that we've seen since the pandemic is a loss of women from the workforce. And we start digging into this. We also have now keyed into the fact that childcare costs have really grown exponentially in Maryland. And that we have some of the highest childcare costs in the nation right now. And so we are about to put out an additional report, a smaller policy brief, working with the Department of Labor on childcare and what it means for the state's economy. So, and we'll be doing additional briefs on housing and whatnot, all things that factor into how our economy is doing and who sometimes it's leaving behind and how we can do better.
Is there a reason why Maryland is the highest in this?
Well, that's some of what we're going to talk about in the report when it comes out in a couple of weeks. And, you know, I am not a member of the General Assembly or the governor or a county council member. I don't introduce bills about these things. But this is data and information that is hopefully, we believe, helpful to our policymakers.
Sure.
So they understand these challenges and can address them through legislation.
Well, from a citizen perspective, I want them to be aware of that and address those things. That makes better, like I said, it makes life better for all of us.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been interesting.
And that report's coming out when?
It'll be out in a couple weeks, and our State of the Economy report is on our website now.
Again, the same website.
Same website.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
I advise everybody to go look at that.
Thanks.
I will.
Yep.
Actually, because I know you're in a rush, but the last topic we should talk about is cannabis.
Oh, cannabis, yes. We're the tax collector, so.
Yeah, well, just so you'll know, I don't drink, I never smoked, I just eat my calories, which is true.
That's funny.
But, it's true. But anyway, let's talk about that. I think that's important.
Yeah, it is. So as you know, Maryland voted to legalize and regulate cannabis, and last year, the General Assembly and the governor passed legislation to create a regulatory framework. Our piece of that is that, you know, the Comptroller of Maryland is many things. I have many roles, but one of my roles is as revenue administrator, right? The tax collector. So we collect the 9% sales and use tax on cannabis. I know that this is an area that people are really interested in. And so as I'm trying to do in all areas of the agency, we're building in ways to be more transparent. And so we now put out quarterly reports on our cannabis revenue to show what we are collecting. And in the first year, we collected over $63 million in taxes. And the legislature put where it's supposed to go and who gets the money. Counties and municipalities get a small bit of it, and some goes to the general fund, and then some goes to help socially disadvantaged businesses to help them start, and then some goes to the communities in the area that have been historically penalized through the war on drugs. So it's been very interesting to be a part of this. We've done a lot of education of our cannabis small businesses on how to collect the taxes and remit them, and but we are happy to work with them and all retailers.
I actually think it was a very good thing to do for a lot of reasons. And again, I'm not a smoker, and I never did drugs. But I support the wisdom behind this kind of a decision.
Yep, no, I supported it as well.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Any other issues that you want to bring up and address with the community? And
oh, thanks. I mean, how much time do we have now?
As much as you want. No. You're the comptroller.
No, I'll just add that we, most people don't know what the comptroller does. So I am always on a mission to make sure, that we're empowering people with information about their government. And the comptroller, like I said, is one of 3 statewide elected officials. And I really do, when people say, okay, in a nutshell, what's your role? I'm like the elected CFO of the state, right? That's what our agency does. And so we see every dollar in and every dollar out, whether it's, revenue administration, bringing dollars in. And then I sit on the Board of Public Works, which is a 3-person body the governor, the treasurer, and me, and we help oversee state contracting. So how we are spending our dollars, and we approve or deny that work. And my job is to be an independent voice doing that work. At the end of the day, I love the community work, right?
Sure.
I started on my community association, and I care a lot about making sure we're working with our community development organizations, our small businesses to support them, and just being really accessible for people to make sure that we can grow an economy and grow a state that works for everybody. So I love doing this work. It's
And you
amazing.
do it very well, and I'm not being gratuitous,
Thanks.
seriously. I mean,
Thanks.
it does make a difference.
We try.
I grew up, this is in Connecticut years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I lived across the street. My best friend is named Jimmy Grasso. His mother was Ella Grasso,
Oh,
the first woman
Yes,
governor of
yes,
the United States. And
yeah.
I watched,
wow.
literally from an inside view.
Yes.
She wasn't just a politician; she was a
Yeah.
statesman.
Yep.
And it was remarkable to see how her wisdom, her intelligence, and her passion
Yeah.
made it better for all of us. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that from you as well.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I know it's not going to end just
No,
because you
no,
ended. You have
no.
a different title now.
No, I'm the Marius. That means
yeah,
I don't have to
Marius.
write sermons every
Right,
week.
yeah,
Yay!
yes. You get to concentrate on all the other important
Yeah,
work you do,
yeah.
which is really, our faith leaders in our communities are such, they're a rock, right? They
Well,
help,
we
bring people
try.
together, and so I appreciate your work.
Thank you. And in Easton, we have a
Yeah.
very good group of clergy. We've been responsive and for a long time. I'm
sure.
glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Cross-cultural stuff
It's
and
great.
good, good relationships on all sides of the fence, whatever
Yeah.
the fence is on the other side. So
That's excellent.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you one of my favorite sayings. You shared one of your favorite sayings with me. One of my favorite sharings is from the Perkio vote.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it.
That's from the Pirkei Avot is
Yeah.
the wisdom of the yes,
Keeps
wisdom
me
of the
going.
fathers.
Yep.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
It's not on you to finish it, but you got to just keep
Gotta keep
going
going.
till the end.
Keep grinding.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So,
Well,
thank you.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We've been talking with State Comptroller Brooke Lierman. Thank you for your time. I really
My pleasure.
appreciate you being here.
Yep.
And anytime you want to come back, just let us know. And
Thank you.
We'll get, if you have something you want to share with the community, it'll be my pleasure to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Great to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Easton, we will see you next time on the Rabbi Emeritus Roundtable. Bye.